Today I'm going to be showing you how to make tostadas de lomo. First we start with a tostada. You'd think it'd be something simple, but there is actually a difference. This is number 1. This is the one I prefer. It's a little bit more grainy and it's crunchy, but not too hard. Versus number 2, it's a lot harder, crunchier, and less grainy. Personally, I prefer number 1. Next, we're going to start with some whole beans. These have been cooked in a slow cooker for about 8 hours on high, and it's just beans, water, and salt. Now that they're cooled down, we're going to put them in the blender, blend them up, have a nice creamy consistency. You don't want them too watery, you want them to be able to stay on top of the tostada. Next is the lomo. This is actually pork tenderloin. You cook this by putting it in the slow cooker with water, salt, and onion. You set it on high for 6 hours. It's best to start in the morning so it can be ready come dinner time. For this reason, I love tostadas. It's a great slow cooker recipe, especially after a long work day. When you're ready to prep dinner, simply pull the tenderloin out of the slow cooker and shred with a couple of forks. This should be easy to shred. I have found that thinner pieces lay better on the tostada. Next comes the salsa. This is a simple recipe found in my mother's hometown of Yahualica, Jalisco. Apart from tostadas, this salsa is used on other recipes such as sopes and tortas ahogadas. We first start by boiling the tomatoes for about 10 minutes, throwing them in the blender with some of the water, just a little bit of salt, and a couple pinches of oregano. The dried oregano is actually very subtle in this recipe because you blend it well. In the meantime, you want to slice up a white onion and throw it in a bowl so that you can pour over the salsa. I pour it when it's nice and warm so that the salsa gets a nice onion flavor. Now just set aside and let it cool down. I picked up some fresh whole milk cheese. This brand happens to be El Mexicano. You can find it in any store and it is labeled casero queso fresco. As you can see, it crumbles very easily, but I like to put it in a resealable bag and makes it less messy. So there is no need for a cheese grater. Once you seal up the bag nice and tight, you want to use both hands and pinch from the outside all the cheese until you get nice small crumbles. Next is the veggies. I like to cut the cabbage by cutting it in half first and angling the knife just enough to get nice small slivers. You want the cabbage to be the consistency of coleslaw. The trick here is to keep turning the cabbage so you get uniform slices. I'm only going to use a quarter cabbage as it serves at least 4 people. And if you do not like cabbage, you can go ahead and use iceberg lettuce instead. I'm going to be using the same technique as I slice through this lettuce. One of the final toppings is crema oaxaqueña, which is similar to sour cream, but not as bitter. I like crema oaxaqueña because it is more flavorful than your typical sour cream. You should be able to find this at your local grocery store. Just look at how creamy that is. And there you have it. Here's all your toppings, including the shredded pork, your salsa, sliced tomatoes, cabbage, lettuce, blended beans, crema oaxaqueña, cheese, and a few radishes. Now it's time to put the tostadas together. Tostadas can get a little messy, so you want to prepare them directly on your plate. We start off by putting some of the beans and spreading them on the tostada. You want to make a nice even layer and make sure you do not put too much. Trust me, there's plenty of toppings. And if you're a vegetarian, you can skip the next part. Can you believe I forgot the avocado? Make sure you slice up one of those bad boys. But anyways, if you do eat meat, make a nice layer of the pork tenderloin. A nice even layer will help cradle all those veggies. Next, you put your cabbage or lettuce, or both, on top of the tenderloin. Add a couple slices of tomato. Throw on some of that onion and salsa. And the amount of salsa you put is up to you. Next is that creamy Hass avocado. Top with a generous scoop of crema. And don't forget to sprinkle on some of that cheese. And there you have it, our delicious masterpiece. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you find yourself making it for family and friends. It's great for huge gatherings, by the way. And I couldn't do this video without taking that messy bite. Yep, I wasn't kidding. It's really messy.